In this video, I'm going to explain the basic procedure of sugar transport in plants and the procedure of the pressure flow hypothesis. Some parts of all plants, called sources, are able to produce sugars. By a process called translocation, these sugars move along their concentration gradient from these sources to what are called sinks. Sinks are part of plants that require more sugar than they produce. These sugars, also known as sucrose, move through phloem cells. Phloem cells look like this and contain two important parts. The first is called the sieve tubes. These cells don't have many of the basic organelles of a normal cell, such as a nucleus or ribosomes. Because of this, they require the help of the second part of the phloem cells, the properly named companion cells. These are cells that attach to sieve tubes and provide them with the help they need to move along the aforementioned sucrose through a plant. Sucrose leaves the source cell from which it was created via passive transport, and then proceeds to enter the companion cells via a symport of protons and sucrose. The sucrose is then diffused into the sieve tube through plasmodesmata. This is how sucrose moves through a plant, but how does water do the same thing? After all, water is absolutely essential to all life on Earth, including, of course, plants. The answer is phloem's closely related brother, xylem. This is a water-conducting cell that is a long, hollow tube. Xylem develops right next to phloem and is responsible for moving water, especially against gravity, throughout the cell, both horizontally and vertically. So now that we know what the phloem and the xylem do, why is it such a big deal that these cells develop right next to each other? The answer is what is known as the pressure flow hypothesis. Take what we know about concentration gradients and apply it to this situation. If the concentration of sucrose in the phloem is higher than the concentration of sucrose in the xylem, then water will move into the sieve tubes via osmosis. As this is happening, the pressure in the source cells increases, which drives the flow of sugars through part of a plant. Because it is storing sucrose, the sink will continually pull the sugars from the phloem. When this happens, the concentration goes back down, and thus the earlier transported water can move back to the xylem.